you guys. Okay, so today we are going to do a get ready with me video, and I'm gonna share a few more clothing items that I picked up from Target. Surprise, surprise. So, okay. I guess I'll show the clothes first. But we're gonna do the makeup and everything. I have all my makeup in this little guy because I had to, you know, take all the stuff out of my bathroom, like my drawer and everything where I sit and get ready. So I kind of just condensed it all into here. So I thought, well, when they come, you know, to work on the bathroom, or if they need to get in there one day, I can just have all my stuff in this little handy bag and take it wherever. So I'm gonna kind of do like a sweet glam look, something kind of cute and wearable. We're gonna use a few new things, try a few new like ways to do it, but let's talk about this first. Okay, you guys, so when I did, let me just talk at you a little bit more. When I did my Target haul video a few videos ago, I was just so pleasantly surprised, you guys. Like, I have always been the type where like I will really kind of spend my money on accessories that will last a long time, that I can wear with multiple things, shoes, bags, stuff like that, rather than buying super expensive pieces of clothing. Now, I do splurge on a few things. I do have some expensive pieces of clothing. There are things that will last me years and years. I don't mind dropping a lot of money on a pair of jeans because I'll have that pair of jeans for like, there's some jeans that I've had for like almost 10 years. They're perfect. But if something's like a little trendier, or if you want like a cute just new little dress or something, I've always been huge on finding affordable things, whether I'm finding a $32 dress from Nordstrom or a $32 dress from Target. So I love to find good things. And when I was linking to the things for that video, you guys, I found a lot more good stuff. So this, I would say I should have bought in the size smaller. I don't know what came over me. It has pockets. I bought it in a medium. I don't know why. Sometimes things freak me out at Target. I did get a little drip of my hairspray on it. I don't know what happened there. Sometimes like it just freaks me out when I'm buying things from Target. Like, if I see something, especially with these things that I purchased online, I didn't see any of these in the actual store. I totally should have done my makeup before I started this. I don't mind how I look, but I literally like seeing myself in the little like viewfinder, or the little, you know, preview, and it's like, meow, I can't even see my face. Sometimes it's tricky when you're buying things online. If I see something from Target and I feel like it might be something from the junior department, or it might be junior sizing, which I usually definitely stay away from. I usually feel kind of like I don't need to be shopping in the junior department, but if I see something that I love, and for some reason I thought this was, usually it'll say juniors, maybe it was the model, she looked really young. I don't remember why I thought that, but for some reason I just said I told myself don't buy a small, buy a medium, totally buy your true size. I should have bought a small, whatever, it still works. You can tie it at the waist, it's super just easy. Let me try on these other ones. You guys, this one is so cute. I don't even want to put on the last one. I don't even want to take this one off. I want to see if I can find this in other colors. Let me show you. It's a little like, you know, not super like up on the side, but it kind of has that little silhouette. But it has this little belt that you can kind of cinch in the middle. Very comfortable. This is really stretchy, not the belt, but the elastic in the middle. I mean, you could just ditch the belt because it's gonna look cinched anyways, but super flattering. I think I'm gonna see if this comes in other colors. I did buy this in a small, so I don't know why I bought that green one. That just makes me, oh my gosh, it has pockets, stop it. Love this, you guys. So excited about this. I will link to this. Again, these are all things that I didn't see in the store. These are things that I saw online when I was like trying to find the links for the other things for you guys. I just could not resist. So let me try on the last thing, which is like a jumpsuit. It's the one that I said that I saw in my store in green, but they only had one small and I didn't go back for it. I ended up just going online for it, and then when I saw that color, I decided to get that instead. Let me show you. This is so cute. So it actually ties, it's a little jumpsuit. I'll show you the whole thing, but super cute. And again, I think I'm gonna have to go back for the green. Okay, so what I did with this one, I did size up. I went to a medium because people said in the comments or in the reviews for this that some people said, okay, like in the wash, it shrank one size. Some people said it shrunk like 17.5 sizes. So I don't know, you guys. So let me let you get the full effect. It hits a little above the ankle. And then what I'm gonna do is probably wear it with heels, since I feel like with this you kind of have to if you want that kind of like cute look, I don't know, with like some really fun like strappy kind of, you know, studded sandals or something like in a nude color. So I don't know, I love it so much, super comfortable. Okay, so let's do my makeup. Oh, I need it. I feel like I really need it today. I feel like I look really tired. Let me see, do I have my beauty blender? Is it damp? Probably not. I'll be right back. Please hold. I didn't even like brush my eyebrows. Okay, so got everything laid out. Did I show you guys? I should have showed you. So basically, I set everything out, but you can put so much in this little thing, and then all of your, I like to put all my little pencils and things that can kind of roll around and get lost in the bottom of your bag in there. And then I keep my brushes in here, and then I actually can just stick them. What I do is I just stick them down in here when I'm done, and then I just doop, and I don't even zip it. If I was traveling, I would obviously, but this has kind of just been for like, I don't know, like practicality reasons I've done this. And I haven't even really needed to get in there to work much yet because they're doing, the only thing they're really doing in there is the countertops. Oh, and they're building some stuff around the mirrors, but they're doing that last. So I don't know, I just went ahead and got everything out when they started, but just using my same Clinique Acne Solutions with my Beauty Blender. Okay, let's talk. Okay, so you guys, first of all, let me say, I'm glad this whole little chit-chat thing I'm glad that you guys enjoy this whole little chit-chat thing. My whole entire thing on YouTube, like, when I started my channel and, like, I did tutorials, I feel like I did them kind of quick, but I did a little, I zoomed in, but I still talked, you know? Like, I didn't do a lot of voiceovers. I didn't do it, like, super fast. Then I feel, and I've always been very like personal, like I want to talk to you guys like when I do my makeup, and I have always, like when it was real cool to do like 3.5-minute videos, I'd be on here like, hey guys, we're at the 42-minute mark and I'm just now, you know, putting my eyelashes on. But I mean, I'm glad that you guys enjoy that more now. I mean, I feel like you guys have always enjoyed that for me, but some of you guys were kind of like, what the heck are you doing? But I feel like more of you guys, like that. I feel like more people are starting to do kind of like chit-chatty things. Because I remember when I did these tutorials like this, I've always just said this is the style that I like to do my tutorials, especially like, I don't feel like I have to be so formal like I used to, like zooming in. And I know that's helpful, but I just like to talk to you guys. I just like it to be more casual, and I'll get as close as I possibly can. Okay. Something I've been doing lately, I've been using this. It's the Laura Mercier Flawless Fusion Ultra Longwear Concealer. And this is the shade 2C, and it's just slightly darker. I have not honestly been wearing a lot of concealer lately. Sometimes I wear that By Terry one. I want to get that in a darker shade because I really love the formula. But I do feel like maybe it's, I know, I'm like, oh, I'm getting so much sun. Look how tan I am. No, but my skin is so pale, I don't like to tan, but we've been outside so much, I feel like my cheeks, I know, I'm super pale. I get that, I love it. I don't want to be any darker than this, but I'm just saying, like I don't want to get any more sun or my skin to get any like darker because of the sun, so I do try to be really careful, but when my cheeks do kind of, you know, get like that, my concealer does look a little too light. So I feel like that's good. And then what I've been doing is on top of that, which I could totally just use my By Terry one for this, but I'm just back to this and I love it so much. Right here, I put a little bit of a light, and it's my MAC Radiant Rose, and then I'll just, whatever's there, I'll kind of pull up, and then I just kind of go nuts with this. This stuff is a miracle. It is so good. If you have not ever tried MAC Radiant Rose Prep and Prime, you got to. Okay, so let's talk. What do you guys want to talk about? About TV and stuff. The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, I'm trying to think of what's even been going on. They're doing the reunion right now. I think did part 2 already come on? I don't remember. Sometimes I get so behind. See if you could just get it light right there, but then all this is kind of the same color. That's my goal. DVR things, so then I kind of forget like what I'm watching and like where I'm at, what I'm doing, like what day it is. I'm kind of back to this, which is the Ambient Ethereal Light, and I'm using this brush by Sigma, which I love. It's the F87. I just kind of put it right there. Okay, so back to what I was saying. So the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, I don't know, like the whole reunion is just disappointing me. I don't know, I'm kind of over it, you guys. I don't even know what I would even talk about with it. Like, let's just talk about Vanderpump Rules. I don't know, Erica's being weird, and that's really all I can think to say. Let me put a little bit of this on my lips, because I'm like, I feel really dry. I don't know, Erica's freaking me out. I don't know why she does that, why she seems like so reserved. I get it, I'm like that, but I feel like on the surface, like even though I am kind of reserved and I don't make friends like right off the bat with people, because I am very skeptical, I feel, just by nature, but I still, if I meet someone, I'm like, oh my gosh, hi, and I feel like I lay it on a little too thick sometimes, so I just don't get it. I feel like you can be guarded, but you don't have to act like that to people. But again, she does no wrong. I love her. For my cheeks, I usually use the Chanel little cream, but I have been using this again, and it's the Too Faced Sun Bunny, and they have the cutesy little new packaging. Love it. So yeah, it's kind of like, it has two sides, but I just mix it. And it just is so pretty, you guys. So let's talk about Vanderpump Rules. So Vanderpump Rules, you guys, I gotta say, that show, if it was just on year round, it would just be wonderful. I love it. It's just my favorite, you guys. I don't know. Jax and Brittany are still together because the reunion just aired. Is there one more left? I think so, I don't know. What do you guys think of all that Sheena stuff? So what's really weird, okay, and let me just blend my bronzer a little bit. No, let me just say, so Sheena's boyfriend, Rob, you know, so basically Sheena had this boyfriend and she was all like, you know, always so wonderful, but he didn't really seem like he was that into her. Whatever, I'll do my highlighter last. Or no, I'll do it right now, so I'm cute. I have been using this, I love it. It's the Hourglass Beauty Wand. I've had this for a long time and you guys probably saw it, when I got it, but I've been using it again and I really do like it. Okay, so Sheena's talking about Rob, blah, blah, blah. And then all of a sudden, like, you know, you find out that he's probably not that into her. Like, it's kind of a little one-sided. What's bizarre is, okay, I listen to Heather McDonald's podcast called Juicy Scoop, and it's really good. And I really like it. I enjoy it. But what's funny is that all of a sudden, like, Rob had contacted her to be on the podcast, which was a little odd. And he was, like, so, I don't know, I feel like maybe now that the show's over, he's like, oh, I should have just been okay with it. Because he said that the reason that he kind of like got out of it with Sheena was because of that rumor that started that he like made out with some girl. Well, you're on Vanderpump Rules. Like, what do you expect? Like, that's not the worst thing that has ever been said about anybody on that show. It was just odd. So anyways, he was on there and like he was all just talking about everything. It just didn't even make any sense like why he was even there. It was just odd. And then on the show, they were all talking about how like they didn't trust his motives or something. Like the girls were acting like he was just on the show because, you know, like he just wanted to be on the show, but then he went off the show because he didn't want to be, I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get that whole situation. It's very weird. His sister's Amber Valletta, which is even weirder. I don't know why that makes it even weirder, but it's just an interesting little tidbit that is not relevant at all. So I'm using the Caviar Stick in Au Naturel. One person that I really have enjoyed is Lala, which she, oh my gosh, she used to drive me nuts. And I get it, like when I say those things, I'm just saying like, oh, this person drove me nuts. I'm not saying like anything about her person. I'm just saying like the way that they edited her and portrayed her the first few seasons she was on the show. I mean, it was kind of weird, but I've really enjoyed her lately. Okay, so I'm gonna use this palette, the Natural Eyes, the Too Faced palette that smells like the chocolate bar palette. Too Faced is like, convinced like all of their stuff is chocolate bar a little bit, I don't know, whatever. So I'm gonna use this color called Silk Teddy. That's cute. It's like a little champagne-y color. And I'm just gonna brush that over because I'm gonna do like just a really natural look. And I'm gonna take this one called Strip Poker and just put it in the crease, just very, very soft. I don't know. So I don't understand all that with Sheena. That guy, you know, I didn't have anything against him to begin with until he went on Heather's podcast. And then I listened to him and I thought, oh, he's a nice guy. Like maybe okay, but it's a little weird and kind of thirsty that like he reached out to her like, oh, I really want to talk about this. You know, it was weird. But then everyone said like he just wanted, I couldn't make sense of that whole situation. If someone can explain to that what everyone had again, because I don't know, it seemed like he didn't want to be on the show, but then everyone said he wanted to be on the show, like he was always at red carpet things. But then Lala was like, my boyfriend had to make him film. I didn't get that. If someone can please explain that to me, please explain that to me because I'm lost on that and this is a really important issue and I would really like to understand. I have this little Anastasia brush from one of my Anastasia palettes. I think of the Soft Glam one. I love that one. Need to bust that out again. And I need to do my eyebrows because they're looking a little scary. Okay, so can you see what I did? Just kind of like sun-kissed, but not like pale sun-kissed. I'm taking my blonde brow pomade. Now see, like when I do my brows, I just take this. This is my little Chanel double-sided brush, which I really, really love. And I just get it right there and kind of make it a little smoother. I'm gonna do it over here. Another show that I've DVR'd a lot, that I kind of watch a lot, is Tyler Henry. Now, something really fascinates me about this guy, because there is something that, I mean, I think everyone can say that, something or someone that they would like to talk to. But does that make me sound crazy? Like, I don't know, but I kind of feel like that makes me sound a little insane. But then at the same time, again, the skeptic in me, he seems like such a nice guy. But then the skeptic in me is like, I don't know, you know? I heard someone talking, and see, like, I don't like to get them super perfect. You know, I'm not trying to look like I have painted on brows. I have pretty bushy brows, actually. Like, but I just always want to get that part because that's like a little chunky looking. Yeah, someone told me one time, like, they had a reading with him. So what they televise is just 15 minutes, if that, you know? And you film with him for hours, and so it looks like when he's reading you, it's like he's getting everything right, but really, like, they said that he was like, probably he only hit on things like maybe 10% of the time, which I find kind of hard. I don't know. I mean, I want to believe that it's real. You know, I don't like to think anybody's like, but then again, I'm a skeptic. Okay, so then, so I haven't been watching a lot of those lately. I feel like I'm interested in someone that's on there, I'll watch, but I don't know. I feel like it's getting kind of old. Unless if like Tyler Henry would ever want to read me. Not on his show, because people would be like, who the hell is that? I mean, I wouldn't say no. But listen, so podcasts, you guys. We have talked about podcasts, and I can't get this eyebrow right, whatever. It's just going to have to live. So we've talked about podcasts a lot on this, you know, and I've told you guys about some really good ones. I totally got into like true crime podcasts, and one that I really liked that really kind of freaked me out, like the production on this one is very, very, like, it'll freak you the hell out. Like if you're driving at night or if you're in bed listening to it, it'll scare the shit out of you. And it's the Up and Vanished, just because the music, you know. And then also Atlanta Monster. I liked those. Those are produced or done by like the same company. And they were both in Georgia, so it was like things that I had heard about and like I kind of knew about. And the whole Atlanta Monster thing, I think I mentioned this, it happened before I was born, like right before I was born. Grew up kind of like, and a lot of my family was from like the Mableton, like Smyrna area. So like where my grandma lived, she lived really close to Six Flags, and like it was kind of like near where some of it happened. And then of course, like, you know, you're familiar with all the places that they're mentioning in the city and stuff. And so it was really kind of like interesting and nostalgic, because like you're hearing people talk and like you know who those people are that are talking, like the news anchors and stuff. But it's a story that I just think a lot of people know about here. Maybe not, you know, but a lot of people should know about it. And it was heartbreaking. But don't be scared, because I know, like, I have a young child. I'm like, I don't want to listen to this. Because it's about, I don't even want to talk about what it's about, but it's good. Stick with, like, don't let it freak you out, because the story is actually very intriguing. And it wraps up, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't wrap, I mean, you know, you feel me. There's only like a certain amount of episodes. There's like 10 and then a few like Q&A ones that just came out. I also listened to S-Town, which is like a really old one that I was just bored and I was like, I need something else to listen to, which if you haven't listened to that, that was really interesting. I'm using this. If something I'm mentioning or something I'm using you don't see me mention, I will link to every single makeup product that I'm using below. This is such a good blush, you guys. I love anything that looks kind of like baked mineral like that has a little sheen, but it's not frosted. Just makes it look so natural on your skin. It's not like too chalky. Okay, so I need some eyeliner. I'm gonna use, where is it? My new Chanel, which I've really been impressed with. Armchair Expert, I like that with Dax Shepard. That's a good one. And it's like long episodes, so like, cause sometimes I really hate that, like if, you know, it's just not long enough to listen to. I really like him. And sometimes it's a little, okay, okay. I like him. I really like him and Kristen Bell. They're super cute. But like, they're one together, and it was one of like his first ones, you know. It was cute, but sometimes, and I get this vibe from her, and I'm not saying anything bad, I shouldn't even say that. Sometimes, like, I do feel like just her tone and stuff, like when she talks about things, it's like almost like, well, I know more than you about this or whatever. And I guess everybody's like that to a certain extent, but sometimes I do kind of get that little vibe when so some of that one was difficult to listen to, not because like because he kind of prefaced the episode by saying like, you know, we were not getting along this day or something, and it was still super cute and entertaining. But like, even like when I see her on some things, I feel like she thinks like she knows she's funny and she knows she's interesting, you know, and it's kind of like you get that vibe. But I like her, and no shade, I'm just saying that's just how it comes across sometimes. So sometimes she's kind of difficult to listen to, but I've found all of his episodes interesting. And he's had like really good guests. And then I've been listening to, I listened to this other one called Disgraceland, and it was just something that was, I don't know, that was like recommended or something. And it's basically like this guy, which I don't even know, I've only listened to it a couple times, but it was pretty interesting. And basically like his podcast is about like every podcast he does is about like a different entertainer or like musician that has had some sort of like murder scandal, or like I've only listened to a few of them. I listened to the one that was like Sid and Nancy, and that was like, I mean, it was interesting, but it's kind of like, I mean, you kind of know some of these stories already, but the way he gets really into it. But now this is not a podcast, but something that I am really interested in, and maybe this is going to come across a little weird because I've watched like all the documentaries and like things about this, is I'm so obsessed with like the death of Kurt Cobain and like Courtney Love and all that. Is that weird? Probably. But there's a documentary called, what was it? I think it was called Bleach or something, Soaked in Bleach. I watched that. I think it was on Netflix, and I watched this probably like over a year ago when I watched this. It's pretty interesting stuff. But I feel like one of the next episodes, I just feel it, of that Disgraceland is going to be about Kurt Cobain. But I'm a huge Nirvana fan. Whatever. That's always really fascinating to me. If someone could just do a podcast on that, even though I kind of know most of the info, that would be great. S-Town. Did I mention that? S-Town? Yeah. But I don't think I talked about it. That's like a really old one, and thoroughly entertaining. And it's like a story, and you first listen to it and you're like, oh my gosh, like I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make it through this, because the guy's voice is like real intense, like the guy that is the southern guy, like that he goes and meets with or whatever. So the eyeliner I was just using is the Chanel eyeliner pen, which I really love. I'm gonna do like really dramatic lashes. I'm gonna put on a little bit of false lashes, I think. But anyways, like S-Town is really interesting. Like this guy ends up, and this was years ago. You guys already know about this, I'm sure. Like S-Town is so old, right? Yeah. It's like one of the most popular podcasts ever, but it's really worth a listen. I would always see it and I just wouldn't listen to it, but it's so worth it. It's kind of like a story, like a mystery, and it's a real life thing. This guy in this like little town in Alabama like called one of the serial guys or emailed him and was like, you know, I've got a lot that I could talk about in our town. Like there's all these, like there's a murder scandal, like, or all these things, whatever, like a cover up. And so this is drying out. I'm better than sex. These don't last long. They're so good. Okay, Too-Faced. But anyway, so I don't have my close-up mirror. I should have brought my makeup mirror in here, but I stashed it somewhere when they were doing all this stuff. So I just like doing what I can. That should be fun when I do my false lashes. Anyways, the guy from Serial, like, starts talking to this guy. He's, like, this really southern guy. And it's something, like, just is a little weird and, you know. And then in the midst of, like, investigating all this stuff, I don't want to give it away. I mean, it's so old. It's, like, I hate to spoil it, but I know some of you guys may not have listened to it. But something kind of shocking happens, and then it turns into, like, a treasure hunt. And, but it was, like, it sounds like a story that was, like, written, right? But it's, like, all real-life stuff. And it was pretty good and interesting, so I would recommend that. I would definitely recommend Atlanta Monster, though. I mean, I really enjoyed that one because it's like a crime thing. I guess maybe I enjoyed that one more because it's like from here, you know, like it's from more like where I lived, like from like, you know, where I'm from. This mascara usually builds so fast. I'm having, you know, I'm sure this is like watching paint dry, literally. Look, like it's not even, I need to bust out my, because I got the Louboutin one again, and I have a Chanel one. If I'm doing, I don't know, this one always just does so well. Well, that's a lot. Okay, we're just gonna leave that. I look like a baby doll. No, when I was saying that before, Serial, that's not the no, Serial is a different one. The podcast that the guy was from was the other one. That's the really big one. Oh my gosh, what's it called? This American Life. That's the one. That's the really big one. That's the one I have not listened to. Gosh, I hate that I said that. I was saying Serial. Because Serial is one that I did listen to. This American Life was the one that the guy worked for, or he was a part of, that then the guy from S-Town wrote to, because This American Life is really old podcast. It's a really like famous, like popular one. And it's like stories, like week to week about like different, I don't know. I've never listened to it, I don't know, but what I understand, it's like stories. I should probably listen to it, but it's, again, super like mega late to the train on that. And yeah, that's where S-Town started. But then Serial is another one, kind of from those same people, and it talked about a real story, that I would definitely recommend too. So Serial would be a good one to listen to, and it is, again, another one that's pretty old, but I just listened to this like a month ago, maybe for the first time, and I feel like sometimes I catch up on things that are old and I start listening to them, and then like they're back in the news or something, and maybe that's why it was recommended to me. But yeah, like that one is kind of relevant again. The first story about the guy, oh my gosh, I cannot even remember his name now because it was so long ago that I listened to it. It was like a month ago, but I still remember his name. Adnan. That's right, Adnan. What was his friend's name? It's old, you know, but it's talking about a story that happened in Baltimore. I think it was around the time I graduated high school, maybe like around 2002 or 2000 was around the time this happened. This high school senior was missing and then later found dead. And her boyfriend was, of course, like, you know, the #1 suspect. And when you're listening to it, you go through so many things, like you're changing how you feel, and you know, you're just not sure. And Atlanta Monster's kind of like that too, although at the end, I don't know, you kind of have a pretty clear view, at least I did. Yeah, it's just so good, I guess, how everything unfolds. And basically, anyways, the guy's girlfriend was found dead or whatever, and then he became the suspect. One of his friends came forward and sort of just told this whole story. There was no real evidence, I believe, other than the guy talking, his friend that basically said, yeah, he did it, and I know he did it. Gosh, what was that guy's name? Anyways, and then they pulled some cell phone records, but they couldn't even prove that the guy had his cell phone at the time. And so it was very kind of shaky, I feel, for that time, and I feel like the evidence wasn't great, and he ended up being convicted. Later, you know, they kind of figured that his defense attorney was a little off, and so they're getting, I believe, just recently, he was granted, I don't know all these words, like these legal words, but I think they're gonna open the case, or not open the case again, but they're gonna retry him. I think he's gonna get another trial, and I bet his friend is freaking the heck out, his friend, the guy that, you know, testified against him, because none of that made any sense to me. And if you're familiar, I will link to these eyelashes. They are the best. If you guys are familiar with that, so his friend, Jay, is that what his name was? Jay. Yeah, apparently Jay got like a deal or something because he came forward, and I think the town just really wanted to wrap it up, or they just wanted something. But it was odd because Jay said he was with him, that he helped him. He was the only one that they ever even could put on the scene or whatever, and the guy was convicted, you know, so it just makes no sense to me. It was just weird. You'll have to listen to it. I mean, obviously, like, you all kind of have your own theories as to what happened, but like, I don't know, Jay and Adnan, which is the guy that's in prison now, it's the girl's like boyfriend at the time, or ex-boyfriend at the time, I really don't think he did it. I really don't. Just from my opinions of listening to this show that is out there for us all to listen and, you know, theorize on, I personally feel like he didn't do it. I feel like maybe what happened was, like, maybe Jay met up with her or something, and he was trying to, like, get with her or something, and I feel like maybe Adnan had gotten with Jay's girlfriend, or Jay's girlfriend liked Adnan or something, and so then Jay was gonna be like, oh, well, I'm gonna get with his, you know, ex-girlfriend, which is the one that ended up like dying. And then I feel like maybe she turned on him, or like turned him down, or maybe he was forcing himself on her or something, and I don't know, and then he ended up killing her, and then he pinned it on Jay. It was very weird. I don't know, I can't get into all of the like details because I don't know. I just feel like maybe that's what happened, and then he, in court, or he said it was Adnan, and, you know, turned it on his friend got, you know, convicted. And to this day, like, even when Adnan's talking in the podcast, because they talk to him a lot from prison, he doesn't remember a lot of what happened. And like, when you think back to those times in your life 20 years ago, you wouldn't remember where you were. Where were you at on this Thursday? You know, what were you doing? Like, I don't even remember what I was doing last Thursday. So it's just, you know, and he just still, he maintains that he just doesn't know, you know, and then someone saw him at the library when that happened, but then she was hushed up. It was just a very, or not hushed up, but she just, I don't know what happened there. But it was very interesting. What do you guys think? Because now I feel like that's about to come back. Like, I feel like they're about to like retry him, and, you know, I don't know if Jay's gonna have to go on trial again. I don't know how that works. Then you have a deal, but maybe it was a deal for that first trial. I think he could maybe try it again. I don't know. Or tried for something different. But this is PCH, or no, this is Saint Germain. I thought I was using PCH. This is Saint Germain. It's a little more peachy. Sorry, you guys. I'm trying to find all this stuff. I'm doing my best. Oh, here it is. Okay. Yeah, this is PCH. This is Saint Germain. These are those beautiful, like, really pigmented glosses that are very thin. Saint Germain is a little more peachier and brighter, and PCH is a little rosier. But like, I don't know. This podcast, this video is going to be like an hour long, I'm sure. But that was just so interesting to me. And oh, and something else that I didn't like. I did not like this because in the podcast, they told a story right when you were kind of on Adnan's side, because, you know, it goes back and forth. And then you start thinking, oh, well, maybe Jay is telling the truth, because it told the story of Jay when he was at the video store that he worked at. He worked at this, like, adult video store, and his supervisor or his coworker spoke out and told this story about during the time that this was all going on, he was afraid of Adnan. You know, and a whole theme during the whole thing was that they felt like his ethnicity played a role. He was from Pakistan, although he's an American. His parents, I believe, immigrated from Pakistan, but, you know, he was born in America. Like, he's an American. But I feel like, you know, they kind of played up that a lot. But one thing during that night at the video store, when this guy was talking, it was his supervisor or whatever, his coworker at the video store, he was talking in the podcast, and he was recounting this event that happened when, like, you know, around the time this was going on. And it was, you know, I believe Adnan had been arrested, or he was being looked at, and this guy was telling the account of what Jay was acting like at the video store. Jay worked at this adult video store, and he was saying he was terrified. He was very extremely, like, paranoid, right? And at this point, Jay had already spoken out to the police and said, like, Adnan had done it, but he had helped, and he knew where the shovel was and all this stuff. It was just weird. Like, this, I feel like Jay should have been looked at, like, so much more, but I think they were just desperate, like, okay, let's go with this story. I don't know, because they didn't have any, like, proof, like, any physical, I don't believe there was any physical evidence or anything. I don't know. Anyways, it was just the phone records that then now they have proven now what we know about, like, phone records, it can't be admissible, like, as evidence or something, the type that they used, or for what, and they can't even prove that he had his phone, which he did say that Jay had his phone during a time. So it was just strange. But back to the video store, this is where it kind of, like, this is where what was weird to me. Jay had told the guy at the video store that, like, Adnan's, like, guys were gonna come for him, and he was terrified, and there was a van out in front of the video store, and Adnan was, like, terrified, and this guy was like, oh yeah, he was afraid of Adnan. He thought Adnan was coming for him. So, like, if you're listening to this in the podcast, you think, well, that doesn't look good for Adnan. Like, he seems like he must have, like, you know, he must have done something if Jay was afraid. No, it was probably a police van or whatever, and Jay was terrified because he felt his guilt maybe, and he was afraid that the police were watching him. And they talked through the whole thing how like all they did was like smoke pot and stuff, so he was probably like paranoid out the yang anyways. And so that, to me, I was like, that doesn't really say anything bad for Adnan, but the podcast kind of made it seem like, well, this was a bad thing for Adnan. I thought that was a really good thing for Adnan and a bad thing for Jay, because it was almost like Jay was afraid. Like, he was afraid not of Adnan, but he was afraid, I think, of the police. Like, he was feeling the guilt, maybe. And then they tried to go talk to him, and they said that, like, he just looked like he had aged a lot and he probably was stressed out. I don't know, and he just wouldn't talk about it, but I wonder what's going to happen now. So that's just my opinions. I don't know, but that's just like a very public podcast, and of course you can make of it what you will, but that was really interesting to me, and I would definitely check that out because I found that to be really interesting. So when I talk like this on videos, sometimes I'm like, did I leave something out? Am I gonna like be editing this and be like, you only did like half your face? I don't know. So yeah, that highlighter is so beautiful, you guys. I talked about it a long time ago, and I just kind of like use other things. Well, really what happened was I got this Too Faced, and it just kind of ruined me because I love that. But you guys, that is it. I hope that you enjoyed this. Listen to those podcasts. The one that I was just talking about with that whole case, that was Serial. And so Serial has like 2 parts, which I hate even saying this because it's so stupid. I feel like this is so silly because I'm like, oh, let me tell you about this podcast. You guys probably already know. It's like it's one of the most popular podcasts ever, and it's pretty old. Like, I think it's about 3 years old. But so the first, like, I don't know, maybe 10 episodes are about that case. And then the next set of episodes, like the second season or whatever, is about like a military crime, like a military event or something. And I tried to kind of get into that. I didn't listen to that one as much, but I'm gonna go back and stuff. But I couldn't get into that one as much as I got into the first one. But listen to those. Those are all really good ones. But yeah, so this is my look for the day, and I feel like it's kind of glam, but it's sweet, and I really like it. So yeah, you guys, check out everything. I will link to everything that I used because I know this wasn't very like, let me tell you about each one of these products. I think I've done that so much. Like, you know, I just like to talk about other things. Sometimes I'll talk about something if it's new, but yeah, I do really love that Laura Mercier concealer. It's very good. Everything that I used, I've, you know, used before and I really like, so I would recommend all of it, but I will link to everything, you guys. Thank you for watching. Check out some of those Target things, and I will talk to you all very soon. Bye, you guys.